1918, the city engineer of San Francisco approached Joseph Strauss, then a consulting engineer with a long list of bridge contracts to his credit. The city engineer asked if a bridge could be built across the Golden Gate at a reasonable cost. After 3 years of study, Strauss replied that it could for $27 million. This was in 1921. Such a bridge was an obvious need. The proposed bridge was this one, impressive in its simplicity, modern in its concept. The center span from tower to tower would be 4,200 feet long, the longest ever attempted in that time. Construction began officially on January 5th, 1933. In the fabricating shops of the Bethlehem Steel Company at Pottstown and Steelton, Pennsylvania, the fabrication work begins. Bethlehem, the major contractor, will build the steel towers and suspended span of the bridge. At the Golden Gate, construction begins with the Marin Pier, which is built on bedrock on the north shore, the work being protected by a sheet piling cofferdam. 5-inch thick steel base plates are placed by precise measurement. Moving the steel from storage at Alameda to the bridge site is a sizable effort in logistics. The lowermost sections of the tower are anchored to vertical steel angles, which have their roots 53 feet below the surface of the pier. These angles are pre-stressed before riveting to the tower legs, so they will exert a downward pull on the tower, a safeguard against the stresses of wind and earthquake. By 1934, the legs of the North Tower are some 500 feet above the water, about 50 stories high. As the year 1934 unfolds, a bold silhouette rises above the Golden Gate. The horizontal cross struts above the roadway level will help the tower legs act as a unit in resisting lateral forces. All things considered, this pier and fender wall represent one of the most difficult underwater construction feats ever attempted. The pier was successfully completed in January of 1935. It took about a year and a half. On January 10th, 1935, the San Francisco Tower is begun. The traveler derrick, lowered from the North Tower, is reassembled on the second pier and begins another climb skyward. The San Francisco Tower is completed by late June, 104 days ahead of schedule. On November 11th, 1935, the task of spinning the two great cables is begun. From then on, the Golden Gate is steadily bridged wire by wire. The workmen of the cable contractor stitch the north and south shores together with 80,000 miles of wire. The wires, 27,572 of them per cable, build up to a compacted cable slightly over 3 feet in diameter. Later, as the roadway takes shape, the cables will be wrapped with galvanized wire and painted to protect them against the elements. The spinning of the cables is completed in May of 1936. The summer of 1936 sees the first 3 panels erected by cantilevering each way from the towers. Chicago booms at the roadway level handle the steel for this work. One of the unique features of the job is the emphasis placed on safety. As the roadway moves outward from each tower, a manila rope safety net is introduced. Assembled first at water level, the net and its frame are lifted to position beneath the span. And so the span progresses, moving out truss by truss in 4 directions to maintain equal loading on the cables and towers. By fall of 1936, residents of San Francisco are treated to the sight of a span which moves steadily closer to the day when the 2 halves will meet. Finally, on November 18th, 1936, the closing members are lowered into place. The Golden Gate is bridged. For Chief Engineer Joseph Strauss, and for every engineer who has contributed to the work, this is a day of realization, the type of day which fulfills the life of an engineer, first as a dream, then as a magnificent accomplishment. Fog makes one of its regular visits as the finishing touches are added to the bridge, creating a strange kind of beauty. And so, the work is completed. The bridge that pessimists said could not be built has been built. May 28th, 1937, opening day.
Thank you for watching our video. Please remember to like, share, leave a comment, and subscribe.